What's going on, everybody? My name is Joey, and welcome back to another video here on my channel. Now today I got a real treat for you guys. This one's been requested a few times by a handful of my viewers. What I'm giving you guys today is I'm giving you guys all 6 of my meta configs for my Saryn Prime. This is going to be 6 meta builds. Some of them are different, some of them similar, but mostly used in different scenarios. This is really overall though is like one of the best frames in the entire game. Toxic Lash is arguably the most broken ability in the entire game, and this frame really just packs a punch. No matter how you decide to build it, whether it's like doing ability damage itself, building your melee base, building her as a primary weapon platform. There's a ton of different things. You could use a AoE armor strip build, things like that. There's a lot of different builds. And right before I get into my setup real fast, I just want to show you guys. I'm running one casting, and then I'm running 3 Tau greens for toxin damage, and then I'm running ability strength here. You could just run like 4 greens if you want. I just have the ability strength shard here. I think I was like changing this one around with like parkour and things like that. So yeah, if you guys want to put like another green shard here, that's fine too. You can go for that. You could even put like the Tau green here, and then if you want to use like an AoE build, you can get the extra strip from that. So yeah, I'm blabbling on now. So let's get into the builds here. So as far as the first build goes here that I have for you guys is, this is going to be the weapon platform build. The weapon platform build, this is something that you probably see a lot when you hear about Saryn, because obviously Saryn gets things like you're going to get corrosive from Venom Dose, you're going to get a second instance toxin damage that scales off of Venom Dose and your modded toxin damage, so this is absolutely incredible, this ability. And then I'm running Roar on here to give us Universal Bane. It's just going to increase our overall damage the same way a faction damage would, except it's universal, so you don't need to target specific faction, it just works for all of them. So you're going to get a ton of weapon buffs out of this. Now the thing is you have this build here, and then you also have pretty much the same exact build except with Nourish on it. These two builds are like pretty interchangeable. This is kind of just like if you're looking for that universal faction damage, you go for Roar. If you're just looking to get like corrosive Nourish flat toxin, you can go, or corrosive viral flat toxin, you can just go for this. They both work equally well, benefiting different weapons in different ways. So if you're looking to use something like your Sobek, this is what you go for, and you'll see that what you do, you're gonna you pop your 4, you pop all your abilities. Now you can see I have 105% from Toxin Lash, we have 353% from Venom Dose, and now you can see you can just like let them tick now, and then you just like kill the whole room. So this is like, these are kind of the things you'd see with the weapon platform build. Like maybe I could even like go with Glaxian right now. Let me make sure it's set up right. Yeah, I could just like show you this now too. Like, you could just use like, I'll just put Toxic Lash on, and you can kind of see the amount of ticks that are going out with it. Now we have like base damage on the weapon. You can see it. This has like no toxin scaling on the weapon at all. Now you press Venom Dose, and now we're getting the Venom Dose scaling as well. And you can see the damage difference is just ridiculous. So Saryn overall is like easily one of the best weapon platform frames in the entire game. Now you can see full buff. This is kind of like what the weapon will do. Something like that, really, really cool. Like I said, Sobek 2 works really, really well with something like this. So usually when I'm using Sobek, I go with something like this. If I'm feeling a little more casual, I go something like this. But both of these builds are pretty much built the same. Now, these have stretch on them to give us like a slight range on things like our Venom Dose. Like I'll show you here, if I take this off, Venom Dose is 5-meter radius. If I put this back on, it goes up to almost 12, so this kind of helps you when it comes to buffing your teammates. So if you feel like being a good teammate, and you're going to be playing pubs and things like that, I recommend you throw like stretch on here in this slot. If not, if you're going to be just be playing solo, you could just take this off and either throw on like more duration or more strength, whichever one you feel you want or need. Totally up to you. Now, for the second build I have for you guys is this is like your AoE setup. This is the kind of one you would want to use in something like ESO, or if you're using 2 green shards to full room strip, this is the kind of way you would want to go about it. You could definitely go a little bit differently about it if you so want to, but the weapons have a really good scaling, so you don't need all that much strength, and also not all that much duration. You can see even with just that little bit of duration, it's still 57 seconds on the only duration-based ability we have. You could argue the 2 has duration too, but we don't really care about that. We're just using this like cleanse status and draw fire away from us for a moment so we can get our shields back. Now you could put whatever you want on here. As far as the helmet goes, like if you want to use something like roar to increase the overall damage or like whatever it may be, you can. I just prefer it in like a situation like this. So as of right now, I have nothing on here. But my asthma is going to do viral damage. It's going to increase the amount of damage your spores do simply because you're adding things like viral damage. So it's going to be really, really helpful. So if you want to go for like something base like this, you can. If you want to just take off maybe like the 2 and then go for like roar or something on here, and then you can like fully utilize everything, or you can take off the forest still. It really doesn't matter all that much. But yeah, this is definitely the one where like if you're trying to use the 1 and you want large scale, I'll show you right now how it's supposed to work. Like pretty much, you would just obviously you throw your 1 on an enemy, you kill the enemy, and then you can see in the bottom right here that there's actually like the 17 enemies affected. That's because it's spread to all the enemies around. So now you can see they're getting all the stacks of corrosive on them. And if you had more like green shards for stripping armor, you can get this up to 14, and that'll full armor strip, so you can kind of have this like AoE armor stripping forums for you. And like I said, you can put Vira on the enemies. It's not going to do like shift for damage to these guys, but if you're using it for utility base, like your full stripping, like if you even like were to think to yourself, like, let me try building like a support Saryn, like this would be a really good option to support your team with. Things like Venom Dose and using this would be really, really good for you. You're gonna armor strip and you're gonna be buffing your teammates, so you could do things like that too. So this is just like a fun little idea. You could use this for ESO, things like that, or just like supporting your teammates with full AoE armor strip and buffs. So definitely an option for you if you guys are interested in something like this. It's cool enough. Now I want to just highlight this build real fast. This one's not gonna get like an in-depth showcase like it really would otherwise. Because like this one I would need to put like a whole guide behind, but I just wanted to show this. This is my arbitration build. I main Saryn in arbitrations. I'm playing Saryn 90% of the time. I play it a lot. This is the setup that I use, the exact setup that I go for here. You don't need like any more buff than this, any more power strength than this, any more duration than this. Everything will line up totally fine for you. If you don't have PSF, you can go for whatever you want in this slot instead. It's up to you. But otherwise, if you guys are interested in starting doing arbitration with Saryn, this is my build. This is what I like to use. It's double augmented. We have Venom Dose on here, obviously to buff ourselves, our teammates. Things like Toxic Lash are going to get buffed by that. And then we actually have Contagion Cloud. So all this really is while you have Toxic Lash active, when you kill an enemy, it'll create this like toxic cloud. The only real purpose of this is to help you identify spawn locations. This isn't going to kill anything. Well, it may early on. It might. I'm honestly not too sure. I don't use it to kill anything, but it's primarily used because before in a full RB group, I don't know. I keep saying before, but it's been so much time now. Maybe like over a year ago now. Wisp used to run enemy radar, so we were actually able to see all the spawns on things like Xingxia. As long as you ran like a PAI on your companion, you had enough range. There was like maybe one spawn on the entire map that you couldn't see, but now there's like, if you're on Shipyard, there's like 4 you can't see. So it's really nice to have this to be able to identify them when they spawn. That's why I like having this on. If you don't care about that, you don't need to run this. But for me, I like having this. It's really, really helpful. Once you get used to seeing, the numbers pop up around and getting used to using this augment, it very well may improve your speeds and, your clear times. So if you're interested in using this, it's up to you. But yeah, I just wanted to spotlight this build because this is my arbitration build, and if you guys, like I said, are interested in starting with Saryn and arbitration, this is the build I would highly recommend you guys go for. Very, very important you have energized munitions on here, and then just copy the build here. If you have a Wisp that's, actually doing the job correctly with Spectres and everything, Bellicose will be zero issue getting maxed out. So yeah, I just wanted to spotlight that. Now the last two builds I have for you guys, these are melee-based builds. Now these ones, since they're melee builds, I build them lazy, so I build them shield mods. I go prime redirection here for max shield capacity. We're getting 2.4 seconds of shield gate with this. Then I have vigilante vigor and fast deflection. These are going to give me shield recharge time, so you'll see 0.2 seconds after my shields break, it'll start recharging, which is very, very nice. And then it'll recharge at a rate of 167 per second. So pretty much what we have here is our only duration mod is continuity, and then we just stack a ton of strength. We don't care about efficiency. We leave range at base because we're not running like narrow-minded or anything, so we're not dropping duration. So this is very, very solid here. You're going to see everything has a good uptime too. Shock Trooper has 62 seconds of uptime. Toxic Lash has pretty much 70 seconds of uptime, and then Venom Dose is also going to have 62 seconds of uptime, so you really don't need all that much duration. So 155% is totally feasible. And we have 258% strength. Shock Trooper's shock value that it gives you is a raw strength value. Same thing with Venom Dose. So whatever this percent is the percent that you're going to get from shock and Venom Dose. And what's really nice about this is you're going to be able to get shock, so you can use things like melee influence. But you're also going to get flat electric. You're going to get flat secondary instances of toxin, and then you're also going to get corrosive damage, and it's a ton of percent too, so these are going to work really, really well. They have growing power here for a little bit of extra power strength, both augmented and arcane fury. I can give you guys a little bit of an idea of how this one works. Now I guess I can just pull like the Arcane out. I got an influence build on here. Now you can see this is probably going to be, they'll probably die really fast. Let's see. You can see I'm full buff. You can see we're able to get things like influence up. We're still flat electric. And you can see, even without my Incarnate up right now, just watch, like, you can just see, I don't even know if this is, like, baned or anything like that. No, this isn't even baned. I have no bane on here, no toxin mod on here. All I have scaling Toxic Lash, like, as well from my weapon, really, is Galvanized Elementalist. So you can really see, like, a Bane would make this even more ridiculous, but I think honestly if I put a Bane on here right now, I wouldn't even be able to showcase it. But now you can see I got the Incarnate form now. I got a dagger up. Let's see if the dagger, what kind of damage the dagger will do. You can see the dagger does some nice instances of damage for you, and then you can just one more hit. You can kind of just see. So Saryn as a melee platform frame is definitely an option. So, you know, this is definitely the kind of build I would recommend. I like lazy. I don't like shield gating when I'm, you know, I constantly have to get in their face because you're always constantly taking damage. Plus, you don't need rolling guard because Molt will drop status effects for you. So if you get proc by like heat or toxin or electric or like anything that's going to tick you down, you could just Molt, get rid of it. And for the final build, what I have for you guys is my slam build. Pretty much the exact same premise here, except we go for ready steel because it's melee based, and we're slamming, so we want that nice combo. We have Nearest Hatred, Nearest Anguish. This is going to give us 300%, you know, slam attack damage. This is going to be really nice. And then I have Prime Redirection on here, and I have Fast Deflection alone. I don't have double shield regen mods because I can't afford it, but if you're using the right kind of slam melees, you shouldn't really have any issues with this anyway. Continuities, duration. We have Umbral Intensify for strength, Fine Rage for strength. We have Venom Dose once again. And then we run Arcane Fury and Arcane Energize to sustain our energy. And now I can show you guys. Now it's kind of like hard to showcase like slam weapons because they're all really broken. I guess maybe like Sampo would be like okay. Or what? Which one is it? You know, we run Xatas on here, so we can get so we can pretty much multiply our instances of slam attack damage. You know, and usually you'd want to like do this. You know, it works really well with like something like Zephyr because the tornadoes will have the same effect as Xatas, where it'll give you extra instances of damage. But this is giving you an extra instance of damage. Toxin Lash is doing a separate instance of damage. You know, So you can run this Bane too, and you can dip on this. Like you can see what the sample will do. You can see if I go like Dark Sword too, you know, it'll do like the same exact thing. Or the numbers will probably just be ridiculous. Yeah, you can just see like it'll just delete them. Like even with zero combo, like it doesn't really matter all that much. It's really powerful. So you could bring like any slam melee you want into this, and use this kind of build. You know, you're not gonna have any problems. Yeah, you could really just do whatever you want. Now, yeah, slams like already broken on their own, but you could just like, you know, you're gonna get those toxin ticks afterwards, which is just gonna be even more ridiculous. So yeah, if you guys are looking to like use like a slam style build, I definitely would recommend that you try out something like this. But that is gonna do it for my 6 config showcase for Saryn. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like, please comment, subscribe. Have a great day.